Alright, so in this video we're going to be talking about the Razer Orochi V2. If you don't know what this mouse is at this point, you're kind of hiding under a rock. And before I even get into that, I did get my cast off, so hopefully more consistent uploads will be coming out. But I do have like a job and everything now, so I don't know how much I can push out, but I will try my best to get as many out as possible video-wise. But getting into the Razer Orochi V2, if you don't know what this is at this point, you're just living under a rock. This is a wireless mouse that uses batteries, which is kind of rare at this point. I guess it's Razer's take on the G305, but the shape is not similar at all, and I'll get into that in a second. But the features of this mouse, you have two slots, one for AAA, one for AA. So you can pick it. The mouse weighs 64 grams with a lithium AAA and 70 grams with the 70 to 72 with the included AA that Razer gives you. I'm using the AAA, and yeah, so about 64 grams. Actually, the mouse uses Kale 4.0 recolors, so that is a huge addition. The reason they didn't go with opticals is because the mouse is powered by a actual battery, and opticals drain so much more power than mechanical switches that it would be almost impossible to implement that with just actual batteries. But I hope they just stay with 4.0s. It would make an amazing addition. Going on to the sensor. So as you can see here, the sensor is a Razer 5G optical sensor, but as you can see, it is very high, especially compared to something like the NPO1S. You can see the sensor positioning. And this is actually a huge benefit for anybody that wrist aims or does any type of fingertip. This will give you much more control, and it's a huge feature I think more companies need to start implementing. I think higher sensor positionings are just amazing. I think more companies need to do it. There's really no point in not doing it, really. So I'm happy Razer did that. But I'm going to get into a sound test now. Right and left click. Side buttons. Scroll wheel. Alright, so right and left click. They are solid. I do prefer 4.0s over something like 8.0, so I am a little bit biased. But the downside to having this type of design is that full shell designs where the clicks are not split and it's a full shell, you're not going to get the same click feeling. You're going to get a worse click feeling than if they were something like a split click design. You see how it's split here? That's in most mice. You're just going to get a worse feeling. And I would say unless you're clicking on the actual switch, you're really getting an average clicking feel. But if you're clicking on the actual switch, which I'm lucky that my hands are small, so I can do that, you're getting a very premium feel. But I mean, for most people, you're getting a pretty average feeling. Mine did over time develop a decent amount of post travel. I had almost none when I got the mouse, but I am starting to develop a good amount of post travel just over time. But it's not really that big of an issue. Going on to the side buttons. Oh, also, there's no real wobble concerns unless you're taking it and wobbling it, which you never feel that at all. Side buttons, extremely nice. This is definitely one of the shining points in this mouse. They do have a little bit of post travel, but they are just really crispy side buttons. They're in a perfect position for the shape, perfect sizing for the shape. They did a really good job on the side buttons. Scroll wheel, it's an average scroll wheel. If you take the Viper Ultimate scroll wheel and the Viper Mini scroll wheel, put it together, you get this. The tactility is right in the middle of both of those. It's a middle of the road scroll wheel. It's a solid scroll wheel. Not going to be anybody's favorite, I don't think. Not going to be anybody's least favorite. Just a solid scroll wheel. And it is recessed a decent amount. Oh boy, now going on to the shape. So a lot of people are going to have their thoughts about the shape, and they're going to be like, oh, it's a G305 clone, G203 clone, whatever you want to say. It does not feel anything like that mouse or any version of that mouse. This is a right-handed only mouse. As you can see, there is a thumb rest right here for your right hand. The left side does not have that. This is a strictly right-handed mouse. Nothing about this mouse feels like the G305. Nothing. The back does not feel like it really. The front doesn't feel like it. The middle, the curves, nothing feels like it. It feels absolutely 100% different. Just think of a size comparison. G Pro Wireless. It just topples over it. NPO1S, which is still a pretty small mouse, topples over it. XM1R, obviously, topples over it. So the actual dimensions of this mouse are 108 millimeters long. That's it. 60 millimeters wide. 38 millimeters at the hump. For example, Zeiss Rail, which is the Xtrfy MZ1 Rocket Jump Ninjas mouse, is 111 millimeters long. So this is even shorter. Very small mouse. Obviously, it's fingertip orientated. If you fingertip, this is going to be a dream for you. If you claw and have smaller hands, it will work for you. I don't see anybody palming this mouse at all. It's just too small. Getting on to the coating and the shell, because there is a few things I'm going to talk about with the shell. The coating is, I think it's a little bit softer than the rest of the Viper family, not as grainy. But I don't have those mice near me, so I can't speak. They could be exactly the same, but I don't have either one of those next to me. But obviously, I have used them in the past. The one thing I'm going to talk about with the shell is, as you can see right here, it has started to discolor all around, basically. And I've seen this with other people's copies and on the custom printed ones. The custom printed ones, actually, sorry about my phone going off. The Razer logo has started to literally fade away on some people's copies, which is rough. And I don't know if you can really see this, but I am getting some fading away, like right here. I don't know if the stupid webcam is going to show it, but it is like slowly fading away, which isn't a huge deal. It's not too noticeable. I doubt it's going to get terrible, but yeah. And also, the back shell does get pretty loose over time. I've also heard this from a lot of people. You might be able to hear this. So what that is the shell rocking back and forth, because it's only held in by 2 magnets. So you will get some movement. That's why I don't really recommend clawing this mouse, because you do feel it when you're moving the mouse around. You feel the shell rocking back and forth, but you do not feel it at all when you're fingertipping. At all. And it doesn't hurt your performance or anything. It's just kind of annoying. So you can take that how you want. But it's really not that big of an issue. The feet, though, they are really good stock feet. I've been using this on a Hayate Ku, which is not the fastest pad at all. It's a really, they were basically broken in as I got them out of the box. They are really solid feet. I don't see any need to replace these. They are really solid. I would just stick with them. Major improvement over the Viper feet. Major improvement over basically any other feet that they've had before. Now, one main issue I do want to talk about too is that some people have had issues using the wireless connection on other than USB 3.0 ports. I did have this issue, but not everybody does have it. I couldn't use it in my PC ports. I could only use it in my monitor ports. Whatever. Still worked. Does not happen for everybody. I'm just one of those, I guess, lonely cases. So, yeah. And obviously this mouse comes in black, white, or you can get a custom colored shell and wait like 2 weeks for it. I would just say get a black or white one. Wait till people sell the custom colored ones. Boom. Then you get your mouse quicker. Yeah. But that's going to be the end of this video. If you fingertip, you need this mouse in your life. If you palm, obviously don't look into this. If you claw and have bigger hands, I would not look into it. Smaller hand claw, fine. You can probably look into it. If you wrist aim, you need this mouse. That's going to be the end of this video. I guess you could sub to, follow my Twitter in the description, and use my Addis Ink link. That's going to be the end of this video. Peace. I do recommend it. It's an amazing mouse.